Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Macabre'Gorium Labs presents a showcase of things likely forgotten. My name is Bats, and I hope you'll join me today as we take a look at today's topic with the classic Ouija board, the fun of fear. As we began to research the history of the modern Ouija board, it became quickly obvious that there are many different variations of the story. Alright. We're going to approach today's topic as if the entire thing wasn't totally bullshit. Wait, I can't even swear in a video on a topic like this? Oh, hell no. Hold on a minute. It's Bats from the grave. Hello? Who do you think you are? What do you think you're... Yeah, don't try that again. Leave it to us professionals, jackass. Okay. Apparently for today's topic, we're going to approach it as if it functions as it's described. That's right, you fart knocker. Watch yourself. Remember, you're supposed to be the family-friendly channel. Okay, love you. Today's video is basically an amalgamation of all the most plausible information we could find, and for this one we go all the way back to the year 1890, where Ouija Board and Charles Kennard decided to create a parlor game. Their idea was to create a, quote, talking board, which was also known as a spirit board or witch board. The idea was to have fun while talking to the dead. Man, I wish this stuff actually worked. That sounds like fun. Elijah then discussed the idea with his sister-in-law, Helen Peters, who was a medium and spiritualist. They decided to attempt to patent the idea. Ouija Board applied for a patent on May 28, 1890, but this proved to be rather difficult as the local patent office had denied the patent. However, Ouija Board and Helen would not be thwarted. They traveled all the way to Washington, D.C. and were initially denied there as well. However, the chief patent officer wanted to be sure the board even worked. Without prior knowledge of his request to have the board spell his name, Elijah and Helen showed the board did work. The patent was given after this demonstration on February 3, 1891. Bond then sold the U.S. distribution rights to the Kennard Novelty Company. In 1901, William Fuld, an employee of Ouija Board, would take over the production of the talking board and named it the Ouija board. It is important to note that Ouija itself is actually a brand name similar to Band-Aid and adhesive strips, so we'll be using Ouija to refer to all talking boards moving forward in this video. William Fuld's family would eventually sell the Ouija rights to Parker Brothers in 1967. In a brilliant decision, Parker Brothers would move the Ouija board base of operations to Salem, Massachusetts. How fitting. This would turn out to be a great decision, as Salem was already steeped in legends of witches, spirits, and necromancy. That first year, over 2 million boards were sold.
Wow, that's a ton of boards. What did this thing even look like?
Well, goats, let's take a look. The board itself was a flat board consisting of the alphabet, the numbers 0 through 9, the words yes and no in the upper corners, and the various other symbols around the edges or corners. Some versions of the Ouija board also included hello and goodbye at the top, bottom, and in the center.
Now you might be wondering, how did all of this work?
The idea for the Ouija board was based on a method called automatic writing, a technique used in psychography to allow spirits to communicate easier. To facilitate this communication, the Ouija board uses a planchette. This would usually be a heart-shaped piece of wood or plastic with a glass or plastic circle in the middle. Everyone that was using the Ouija board would place their fingers on the planchette. Supposedly, a spirit would guide the planchette, eventually spelling out a message or answering a question asked by the user. Pretty simple, right? Well, you would think that. But there were so many things that could contribute to an incorrect reading. For instance, a person or people can move the planchette themselves so others can't tell, thereby choosing the answers instead of a so-called spirit. Ultimately, the name-brand Ouija board was made to be a party game to be enjoyed. It was not meant to be taken seriously, and was meant to be harmless, spooky fun. But then we were introduced to the other side of the talking board, when it was used for nefarious acts by less than reputable people.
This caused us to research the origin of the talking board.
And according to that research, we found that as far back as China in 1100 AD, roughly 925 years ago, there is substantial evidence of talking boards and automatic writing being used to attempt to contact spirits. With the 19th century being plagued by incurable diseases, poor living conditions, women dying during childbirth, and deaths of fathers, sons, and brothers in war after war, and so much despair, people wanted the hope to talk to their loved ones again, so a talking board was often employed during seances and psychic readings. Talking boards have also been consistently associated throughout the years with dark magic, evil, and a way to contact demons and spirits. With this in mind, during the readings, spiritualists wanted to be as safe as possible while interacting with the board, so they devised actual rules to follow when interacting with a talking board, and they are as follows. Rule number 1. Never play alone. Number 2. Sit in darkness or candlelight. Rule number 3. Never play in a cemetery. Rule number 4. Treat the spirits with respect. Rule number 5. Always say goodbye. This one is extremely important with any spiritual endeavor. And finally, always remove the planchette when finished. These rules are supposed to help the user of the board not have things get out of hand or even allow the evil spirit to take over. Of course, with the board being associated with the occult, various religious groups have adamantly protested against its use for centuries.
And with society being what it is, that just made them all the more popular.
With all of the lore around the Ouija board and all of the instances of the Ouija board predicting things correctly, the scientific community had to take a look too. Here we are, and here's what's been found. Scientists using idiomotor phenomenon show that people make unconscious motions. Why does that matter? I'll tell you. This matters as it is theorized that people using the Ouija board unconsciously move to guide the planchette. Even with this explanation, scholars have criticized Ouija boards as a callback to a more primitive belief system. Which makes perfect sense because the Ouija board relies mostly on beliefs and not logic. As the 21st century came, there would be numerous instances of organizations trying to stop the Ouija board from being sold. In 2001, Ouija boards were burned in New Mexico as symbols of witchcraft. And in 2005, Catholic bishops wanted the board to be banned and warned that it was the way to talk to demons. Call me. There are also many movies showing the use of the Ouija board, including the 2014 movie Ouija and its 2016 follow-up, Ouija, Origin of Evil. Not to mention the thing I showed you a minute ago that we're really not going to get into, but Ouija became pretty popular with the younger crowd for a while there, and thankfully that came to an end. Here in 2025, Ouija boards remain a staple in any store that sells board games. You can find them easily on eBay, Amazon, Etsy, and multiple other sites online, as well as pretty much any brick-and-mortar store, more than likely even grocery store tiny toy sections. These things are everywhere. You can find basic boards, homemade boards, and even directions to make your own. There are even some more dubious options out there if you're willing to look for them. In addition to the board itself, there are also a ton of merchandise at a variety of stores such as Hot Topic, eBay, Amazon, Walmart, Etsy. And you can get shirts, earrings, mini Ouija boards, coffee mugs, doormats, shower curtains, and that's just to name a few of the many items. All in all, these boards are made to be fun and to laugh at you and your friends to try to scare each other and summon a spirit. It's not meant to be used to try and actually summon demons or aid in witchcraft. Although I suppose anything is possible. And much like anything, the intention of the users can yield different results, and there are a lot of things in this world we can't explain, so you never really know. Now, the jury is out on whether these things have any validity or actual spiritual use or not. And honestly, with this one, does it really matter what I think? Because at the end of the day, I want to know what you think. So now you know, I've just got to ask. Did you ever use a Ouija board? If so, what were your results or creepiest Ouija board experience? If not, what was your favorite childhood snack, toy, show, movie, or other memory? Did we forget anything, get something wrong, or leave something out? Maybe you have a suggestion for a future video, or just want to drop in and say hi. Either way, feel free to hop on into the comment section, because we always look forward to hearing from you. And with that, unfortunately, we've come to the end of another Macabre'Gorium Lab showcase of things likely forgotten. I guess this one wasn't quite forgotten. Either way, I hope you had a good time today. I'm your host, Bats, and today we took a look at Ouija, the fun of fear. Be sure to check back next time, because you never know what we have in store. And as usual, think for yourselves, be excellent to each other, and of course, keep it creepy. Hey, thanks for checking out our video. If you enjoyed this one and would like to see more of our weird, creepy, odd, eccentric, or strange content as soon as it comes out, please feel free to click like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more. We'll see you later. Keep it creepy.